Hey everyone, welcome to NHL Nightly. I am your host, Jeremiah Maxwell, aka the Sports Beard. With me, as always, Rico and Barry, our goal scoring prop expert, Pearlo Wisdom, handicap extraordinaire, and hey, we got John Viveros from Hot Take Hockey. We're on Hot Take Hockey, so this is his domain. He's the big boss. So we got him again. We got John on the road, so he's gonna come join us when he can from time to time. So it's gonna be great. And I know we have this thing talking about Seth Jones and maybe the Dallas Stars, but there was so much stuff that came after I created this, I almost changed the name. The big thing I wanted to talk about right away, and I don't know where you guys are at on this one, but this Kevin Weeks tweet, and I'm just going to put it up on the screen right now. This one was a head scratcher to me, guys. I did not see this one coming. Keep an eye out with the return of Doughty, the Kings lineup. Clarke, who leads Brandt Clarke, by the way, who is the reason they could walk away from Faber and all these other guys, who leads the team in points by a D, appears to be a healthy scratch. What is going on? Adam Kerr says right away, Brandt Clarke to the Red Wings. Yeah, no doubt, Adam. You're gonna want that. Okay. John, you saw this. You put this in our rundown. I saw it too, but I didn't put it on a rundown right away because I was like, oh, I got to find something else. But Weeksy's sometimes known to be alone on a hill for some takes. And I agree with Leaf fan. That would be so stupid of Blake and the crew, but no surprise. Oh, sorry about that. I don't know, man. This kid seems crazy. Isn't he a part of the future there? What are we doing? Like, Rob Blake, you've made enough bad moves as a general manager, okay? Like, what are you doing here?
I was going to say, so the crazy thing, I think talking to Kings fans, that's really just driving them nuts is the misdirection or just the lack of direction, because you had one of the best prospect pools. You had one of the best futures in the National Hockey League. Like, I don't know if you guys, I mean, I'm sure you guys remember 4 or 5 years ago, we were talking about the LA Kings and New York Rangers, the two teams having the brightest futures, and both those teams have kind of crashed and burned with that direction. Specifically, I mean, LA's just run into Edmonton every year, and they've traded off some of their younger guys. But, I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, Brandt Clarke ripped it up for the Barrie Colts. I know in your town, Rico, and you probably got to see him here and there and hear him as a talk of the town. But, I mean, he's always played above where he's kind of the crop he's been a part of. So even joining the LA Kings, like, he's this young guy coming in and with Anze Kopitar, Drew Doughty, guys with huge profiles, and he still has been the best offensive D-man for them this year. And obviously Doughty's been out, but how do you rip a guy like that out of the lineup? Regardless if Kevin Weeks is reaching here, Jeremiah, regardless. Why are you pulling that guy out of the lineup when you've struggled to score? Like, look at the LA Kings.
They didn't score tonight. They didn't score at all.
Shut out. How ironic is that?
Dude, I mean, look, I get that this guy is a legend for the Kings, and I mean, these teams need to get away from having these team legends make 7-figure salaries to play GM God mode, whatever, franchise mode on any. I mean, like, get some hockey people in there that are really working hard. Like, look, we just saw a guy who was a rocket scientist in Eric Tulsky make one of the biggest deals in the history of the NHL. It makes no sense to me, man. Like, I don't know. And you honestly, Rantanen looks a little shook too. I mean, he missed a 2-on-0 goal. I mean, like, confidence isn't looking good. He's looking a little bit like Rico and I were talking. Max Domi, we're feeling so bad because he just doesn't look like he has any confidence on the ice. So yeah, this one's a big time head scratcher for me. Pearlo, Rico, you want to weigh in on this one, or?
If I'm shovel day off, maybe I'm picking up the phone and calling LA and saying, would you take Perfetti and Logan Stanley for Brandt Clarke, and let's just make another deal that might make Winnipeg tilt the
Kings again.
That would actually probably help LA out a little bit too. But I mean, Drew Doughty is not going to be around for another 10 years. What are you doing here? This is potentially another 10-year player. I don't know, man. This kind of a head scratcher to me. And if Go ahead.
Funny
Go
you
ahead.
say that it's a head scratcher because it comes from Kevin Weeks' forehead all the time too. So.
That's fair. He didn't include that in the thing, but for sure. Yeah. Pearlo, do you have any thoughts on this one or?
Well, I'm just looking it up. Is Spence right? I think they just think they needed more defense because Spence is more defensively responsible. Yeah, he is. That's the only thing I can say is that they figured that Jordan Spence is a little more mature. He's been around a little bit. He's 23.
So instead of losing 3-2 or 3-1, they lost 3-0 tonight. Basically.
Yeah, I'm not saying it. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here just to try to figure out why they would do this. Like, it's either him or Spence comes out.
Yeah, I just saw that comment too, Jeremiah. Giacinto, no trade happened. We're just talking about Kevin Weeks put it out there that Brandt Clarke.
I think he's just asking us to announce a trade. Like he's hoping. He's wishful thinking is what I'm getting from
I think it's
Giacinto Matera.
That's all I could say for that. I'm not sure. It's either him or Spence. So who would you take out?
Spence. I'm not taking this Clarke kid out. I've heard about this kid for like 3 years. What are we doing? Like, and if you don't think he's ready for the NHL, play him in the AHL. Isn't he still got a 2-way contract? Like, what are we doing here? This guy's still on his entry-level deal. If you're not going to play him, develop him in the, with the Ontario Reign. What are we doing here?
Yeah,
and it's not like he's far away from LA, Ontario, California, not far from LA.
Yeah, so, definitely not. I mean, you would like to think this is just a one-off, but yeah, Jeremiah. Yeah. I mean, the logic is like, he's not like when you're sending a guy to the AHL, like you're thinking, okay, he's not ready for the show. He needs more time to be seasoned, but this guy's been looking comfortable. Like he's looking like an NHLer this season. So it's a head scratcher on so many levels because what you said, Jeremiah, is just the perfect way of going about it. Sure. And this is why teams need to learn from Pittsburgh and not learn the hard way is great. These guys have awesome resumes. You need to put huge respect on keeping them around or at least putting respect on their name. But like prioritizing these older guys just because they've won cups for you over your future is just such backwards thinking. It's insane.
And, something's obviously going there. Dubois just hit 40 points for the Caps. Now, look, Darcy Kuemper's played very, very well for the LA Kings in his second go-around, and I think that trade's worked out for both teams. But, like, why is PLD playing so good and everybody's saying he's a great locker room guy? There's obviously some locker room issues there, too. I wonder if, that's not the case. You know what I'm saying? That maybe some people in that locker room, not naming names, are living off their coattails. And I'm not saying it's a guy like Anze Kopitar, who is the captain.
Do you think it's just weird timing that Doughty's back in the lineup and all of a sudden this has just come out?
Well, he didn't play. He didn't play tonight. He's not ready.
It is possible. I don't want to say Kevin Weeks. I think Kevin Weeks does have a lot of sources and he's definitely well connected. Sure. So I'm not saying he's not. But maybe this was kind of a layup saying, okay, well, they're taking him out of the lineup pretty easily. Let's put him into the trade conversation. Because, I mean, this is kind of random. Like, I feel like if we saw a second insider say it, then maybe there's a little bit more validity. But I feel like
Doughty was in tonight? Was he in tonight?
He was in tonight, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Doughty was in.
Make sure. He was in tonight.
Clarke came out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So it was between him and Spence, and they chose him.
I mean,
here's the thing. Gavrikov's the left shot defenseman. They shifted him to the right. It's not like they couldn't have put Brandt Clarke in. They chose not to.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not – look, we don't know. There's some stuff going on behind the scenes. They're not happy with his play. But when you lead the team in points from the defense, I mean, you're asking that guy to do what he was brought in to do. He's an offensive defenseman. So thank you for the update. Sod's letting us know Vancouver has scored. They're up 2-1. What are they going to do? That's like – what are they going to do? Did you want to jump right into that? That was kind of the next thing. The JT Miller comments after Jim Rutherford, after we talked about this yesterday, the article, the Globe and Mail, he, here, drop Pearlo. We'll just go to a wide shot till he's back. Rutherford basically says, yeah, there's a systemic problem and they're probably going to have to do a rebuild. And also Quinn Hughes isn't sticking around for a rebuild. Crazy. And then we've got a little, I mean, I don't know if we need to play it. Everybody's probably seen they asked JT Miller. He basically says he's not commenting on it. I don't know, man. This is, I mean, I feel so bad, Sod. I feel so bad for you guys because you guys had such a magical year last year. If you were healthy, I 100% believe you beat Edmonton. I do. I think if Demko is 100% and playing up to his level and you have a healthy Brock Besser and, oh, yeah. Thank you, Sod. Might as well break into it.
Hot Take Hockey merch.
You can go to the Hot Take Hockey merch store on the web. On the link is in the description on the YouTube site, and buy yourself a pretty sick champion hoodie. This is my.
Let's go. I was gonna say, Jeremiah, don't you think it's weird though? The Canucks are just stringing together wins, and if they win tonight, like they're going through their most toxic period, and they're just randomly they're stringing.
Well, maybe they're overcoming it in spite of. I mean, again, this team has talent. They didn't lose that much. I mean, Zadorov hurts, Lindholm hurts. Those guys hurt.
They got DeBrusk, and he's having a good year, like for standards, right? He's like not great. He's having a good, okay year.
My problem with him and that signing from the get is he's always been a streaky player.
Yeah, he's streaky. He honestly, he's cooled down since.
But he lights it up in the playoffs. Yeah. So, you know.
Right. He's cooled down since that stretch he had, which was like really good. And then it's cooled down a little bit.
Let's get Pearlo back in.
I was going to say, Evasive brings up the Seth Jones topic saying he's bad depending on what else is available. But, I mean, that's a conversation we'll have in this stream too. But, yeah, there's so much going on, man. It's crazy.
Well, so I'm wondering now, because everybody was speculating that Frank Saravelli's, there was a bigger tweet on the table. Everybody thought, oh, it's Crosby, yada, yada, yada. Yeah, it was never Crosby. No one ever believes Crosby's actually, except for Pearlo, believes that Crosby was getting traded. I wonder now if Quinn Hughes was involved in something.
What if it was Pettersson though? What if it was Pettersson in Buffalo?
Is Pettersson a bigger trade though than Rantanen?
I guess the only way it's
what's bigger than Rantanen is what I'm saying. There's not
definitely no individual player is bigger than Rantanen, but maybe he thought it was bigger in the sense that it was like 4 players for 4 players. Like what if it was like Pettersson, then one of the D-man.
What if it's Natchez, Mercer, Dougie Hamilton, and like another Nemec for Brock Besser and Quinn Hughes to the New Jersey Devils?
Like, no way they're trading Quinn Hughes. No way.
They're not trading Hughes. But I mean,
they may not have a choice.
Besser and Pettersson could have been in the conversation for a massive trade. Like that's what I'm thinking. As Saravelli was alluding to, it could have been a Besser and Pettersson to like a Buffalo or New Jersey.
But somebody's got to have the cap space for that too, right? So, like the Devils, like.
But you just said it yourself. If they sent, in that trade, if they sent, like for example, if they sent Mercer and Hamilton, to Vancouver, that's about what?
Well, we can look right now.
13 million right there.
We can look right now. I've got it right now. I was way prepared for this show today because I spent all day doing computer classes, so I was bored. Anyway, Timo Meyer's a guy I could see him trade because that cap hit's kind of large. I think he's their biggest cap hit, by the way. So you think that might be something they have to get back. So we said Mercer, right?
I think he's about 4, right?
He's $4 million.
Yeah. For
3 more years. Well, 2.5. You don't count. This year's already halfway over. Okay. Halla on the IR, so they're getting a little bit of relief there. And then on the back end, Dougie Hamilton. If you have Hamilton there, you can definitely get Quinn Hughes in. So Ian says JT Miller getting traded before, and maybe Pettersson leaves too. I think they're gonna blow it up, dude. If you go back and read that Globe and Mail article or listen to the guy, he's on Rick Dollywald's show. I think Rutherford kind of sees the light here and is like, I don't think any measure of trade is going to make them competitive. They're going to lose anyway on these trades. I would be very suspect to, I don't know, you guys. I'd be concerned about taking an Elias Pettersson on with that salary if I'm any team. You know what I'm saying? He makes me more nervous than JT Miller. And you know what you're getting with JT Miller? Getting a guy who is probably an 80-point player at this point in his career. He's going to be an honest two-way guy. He's not the greatest defensive player. I know he gets credit for being a little bit better defensively than he's not. Old Pasha is always banging up on him. He lives there in Vancouver, so he sees him a lot. I don't know, man. This is a tough one. I feel like they're in such a hard place. They may not be able, if they don't move anybody before the trade deadline, I'm not going to be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be shocked either way. I think there is a possibility that all Besser, Pettersson, and Miller all get traded.
They should.
And maybe even
Besser for
deals.
Sure. Besser, they'd be idiotic not to trade because he's a UFA and they're not bringing him back. He's not coming back.
What if coming out of the Four Nations, they're in a wild card spot?
Oh, I think they're a playoff team as built right now. Quinn Hughes is having a spectacular year.
Yeah, he's having a Hart Norris type year.
He single-handedly beat the Caps the other day. Nobody else on that team did anything, and he scored everything. This is what they've got. So Hughes only makes 7-8. You could basically do Hughes for Meyer, and they wouldn't even notice it. They would gain cap space. And if you're Vancouver, you're not doing that. So
honestly, Jeremiah, I still think Quinn Hughes is untouchable. I don't think they're ever going to trade Hughes.
No,
I don't think so. I think even with Rutherford's comments, I think they're going to trade for roster ready guys. Like the rumored package for Buffalo is Dylan Cousins and Bowen Byram. Like that's not rebuilding players.
For
those are guys
who? Dylan Cousins for Pettersson. See, I do that all day for both teams. I think it makes sense. And they got to re-sign Byram anyway. And they can only move Pettersson this year, and then his no trade kicks in, and then they're handcuffed. I don't know. What's Rico's cat think?
I think they might trade both Pettersson and Miller, honestly. They might just.
The Kitty thinks Vancouver's not blowing it up. They just got so close, and they were a good team last year, and most of the same cores in that room right now. Just a matter of going in that room and sitting them all down and being like, somebody else need a 2-week vacation here. We got to figure this shit out right now, or some of these are sent packing. So you can either go on a vacay or you can go out of here vacay. So figure this out.
I have a take on what happened, what Rutherford said there. There's two things that I got from what he said. You got to kind of read in between the lines. One of the things I got from it was, yes, we've had a problem. So he's come out and said that they've had a problem. And he's come out and said it's between Miller and Pettersson. And that has affected both of their stats this year. So what's he saying? He's telling the other teams, you remove that out of there and it doesn't affect their stats anymore. He's trying to get it so it looks like it's the problem is there. And if you trade one of them, the problem's not there anymore and you get the old player that you've always seen. So he's publicly kind of going out trying to gain value on those players by doing that. I thought that was one of the things. The other thing,
I definitely don't disagree with that, Pearlo. I think
it's a two-part thing too. I think he also shines a light on both of them and says, "Hey, it's your choice now. It's public. Everybody knows it. You got to take the heat. Now we're done with it. Now it's up to you. Where do you want to go? You want to be here? Then you better get along. If you don't, we're moving either one of you." And I think he tried to increase their value and put the pressure on them at the same time. I think that's what he did when he did that. Because when you first told me that, it didn't click in my head. Like I couldn't. It was so weird. And then
Utah just scored. By the way, Utah just scored. Sergachev.
There had to be a reason why he came out like that. And I think maybe those two things might be the reason why he did that.
What about Hughes like Keisher, Mercer, and Siegenthaler in a first? Yeah, I think they would have to get a defenseman in back. That's what I was wondering if you got like somebody like Dougie Hamilton, who's still got a lot of good years left, a very good offensive defenseman, both left shot D, right? So I don't know, Adam. I like the question though.
Good on Hughes this year for just putting up with everything going on and all the noise and just going out there and being like a potential Hart Trophy defenseman.
Oh God, he's played
unbelievable what he's done there.
Yeah. Again, they were so close to being in the conference finals. It's nuts. Hey, real quick, leave a like, subscribe. We have 42 in the YouTube. We have 60 total between YouTube and X. Appreciate everybody. Remember on X, you can chime in too. We can see your comments if you have questions or anything. So Avi's telling us that that was a power play goal for Sergachev there. So, okay, let's I feel like I'm kind of ready to be done talking about the Canucks until they make a trade. So so let's just kind of get into the topics. We had somebody earlier talk about the John has a little bit of a proposal for Seth Jones. I saw a tweet today from legit sources, like 5 teams. The Capitals were on that list. The Dallas Stars were on that list. Several other teams. I think I bookmarked that, so I'll try to find that for you guys. But oh yeah, here we go. I got it right here. This is perfect. So this is from I think this came from BR, but who retweeted this actually? Sorry, before I. Oh yeah, okay.
And I see a comment from Nice14.
Let me see.
That's interesting. I mean, yeah, we'll see what
Does
happens.
anyone know if Miro is hurt or if he's out 8 weeks? They might pick up Jones. Yeah, so we haven't heard about Miro Heiskanen yet. I was looking. Did not see anything. It didn't look good. We could talk about that play real quick. I at first I heard Ray Ferraro on the broadcast, and he sounded like, wow, why would you even do that? But I think he was kind of befuddled by what happened. Once they showed the replay, it's clear Hens gets him a little bit with any kind of toe picks and sort of falls into his leg. It was a real fluky play. I don't think it was done on purpose. I think we didn't really talk about it because it happened after we were off air. So Ralph says, Hawks fans, Jones is really good. His goodwill with the fan base got burned. An untimely signing by Bowman, unfortunately. Yeah, so I thought he was a Bowman. So here's the here, let me share this for you guys. We'll just throw this up on the screen real quick.
Yeah, it'd be great to get another big trade. Just keep the momentum going in the 4 nations.
Yeah, so I guess I don't need to zoom out there. Hurricanes, Stars, Capitals, Panthers, Red Wings could be in landing spots for Jones. I'd like to see him be with a playoff team again and maybe have a good D pair. He hasn't been great for Chicago, but I feel like he was never a guy that could do it on his own.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was very good with Columbus because they had Cam Atkinson there and he knew what his role was, right? I feel like in Chicago, he probably feels like he has to do everything for them. You know, I think if he could focus on his defensive game, he could be much, much better. So, Chicago has a lot of cap space. Dude, the LA Kings have $11 million in cap space. Maybe they are going for Pettersson. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'll say is on the Brandt Clarke trade rumors, and if Kevin Weeks is hearing something, it is possible maybe they're just going for a game changer, whether it's a forward or defenseman, but maybe a forward. Like, Brandt Clarke has so much value. You could get a stud forward in that top 6, and here's the thing. LA has struggled to score. So if you're not going to utilize the offense coming from Brandt Clarke, maybe it's for a top 6 forward.
Yeah. No, they definitely need secondary scoring there. If Brandt Clarke's involved in the Pettersson trade, do you do that move is Brandt Clarke a right shot D?
Yep. Unicorn.
So, I mean, you Vancouver's looking for that. So, I think you probably want more than just Brandt Clarke. But
and Buffalo's looking for a right shot too. I mean, they've got a lot of young forwards, young forward prospects.
Who else do you throw in there? Do they give up on Byfield and trade Byfield in the deal for Pettersson?
No,
but they got to give more than Brandt Clarke for Pettersson. We can agree on that, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's super far off though. I'm with you. I just think I don't think LA is doing both Byfield and Brandt Clarke. I think that they've been stubborn on Byfield still being a huge part of their future.
Yeah, I would be completely blown away. I think Rob Blake should lose his job immediately if that's what happens. But
I wonder. I'll throw this hot take out there.
Okay,
Kevin Fiala's kind of struggled lately with the LA Kings.
He could be a guy.
Maybe attach Fiala with Brandt Clarke.
Yeah. That could be a thing. I always hate giving up a center for a winger, but I feel like, Kempe, I don't think so, Jake. I don't think so. I think Kempe is a guy they don't trade. He's so good. And he's very good two-way. I know a lot of people don't watch LA, the East Coast guys. I watch a lot of them. listen to Biz talk about him. He was his roommate when he played for him in Ontario. And like, Biz knows what good hockey looks like. And he knows what he's talking about. I really think Kempe is one of the.
At least if he doesn't watch his own tape.
No, I mean, yeah, but he's honest about it, right?
No, I know. I was going to say he jokes about it the most of anything.
Yeah, he's so self-deprecating. He laughs as hard as anybody. Okay, so
let's go 50 in the chat.
They had Doughty on the third pair tonight, which I get. They're moving him back in. But they had him on the third pair tonight. Again, that just makes no sense. I just wonder if Vancouver got Brandt Clarke. Yeah, because right now Quinn Hughes is playing with Tyler Myers on the top line. Nothing against Tyler Myers. Great player, long in the tooth at this point. He's probably a 3 on a winning team, right? On a championship team. He's probably a third pair defenseman.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and then Hronek is back for them, I guess. I didn't even realize that. I thought it was Hronek and Quinn Hughes together, but are they? I don't know, man. If you could put Brandt Clarke on that second line.
Yeah. I mean, it's when they're together, I mean, last year, Hronek and Quinn Hughes were one of the best defense pairs in the league. So when they're together, it's just stud-worthy.
Yeah, why would you? I don't know. Anyway.
I think it's just balance. They're looking for balance, but it's like, again, I'm using a Leaf reference here, but Rico, like you've seen it, like Riley and Tanev were so good together earlier in the year, but they didn't have a good shutdown pair. So they put Tanev and McCabe, and obviously Riley struggled since, but it's Quinn Hughes is obviously a different animal. So for Vancouver, they're like, okay, Quinn Hughes and Hronek are like, you can't beat that. But I mean, Quinn Hughes has shown all year he can do it himself. So even more so why they've done that, I guess.
So Adam Kerr says it makes me think LA wants to keep Gavrikov if they trade Clarke. And that's fair, but Gavrikov is a left shot D, not a right shot D. Right shot D, like we say, gold in this, and they have 2 like actual right shot Ds in Spence and Clarke. Is Doughty a right shot D?
Yep.
Okay, but he's 35. Doughty, by the way, has 3 years at 11 million left, or 2.5 basically. He's got a lot left. So, I mean, as far as money. Okay. If I'm LA, I'm not trading my Stung Young D, just trade picks. And see, but that's the problem there, my friend. Rutherford is not going to do that. LA has the cap space. They definitely have the cap space because their UFAs are Gavrikov, England, Rittich. They're not keeping Rittich. Trevor Lewis, he's going to retire for sure after this. And Tanner Jeannot. That's it. They don't have anybody. I mean, Gavrikov, essentially, who's 29. So, and I don't know what kind of year Gavrikov is having, but I can't imagine he's going to cost much more than he got paid already. He's making 5'8", probably what, with the thing, 6'5". Ian says, when I first saw the Miro injury, I thought of Ovi, broken leg. Yeah, no, it looked more like a knee ligament thing to me, Ian. So, and kind of the way he hit him and the way he went down, I think it was more of a ligament thing. I don't know. You guys agree or disagree?
I was going to say, I mean, no doctor. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, it does make you a little nervous that they haven't really announced it yet. Or like set, like they're obviously not going to get too specific, but like even they haven't really set a timeline. So,
yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, I mean,
I just thought at first
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I just thought the stone dove at him a little bit like a weird take you out motion when I first saw it before I went to bed last night. Then I shut my phone off or whatever, then turned into Twitter today. And then I saw, I guess, Hintz kind of clipped his stick on the bottom of his skate, so he sent them flying in the opposite direction. So it was just a weird thing. But then Pete DeBoer came out. He's obviously coached Stone before, and he said, it's an accident. Hope Miro's not out for too long. I know Stone, wouldn't be that type of player. Just dive at somebody and take him out. But that was the first kind of thought that came out of it. But then if you look closely at the beginning of that play, Hintz kind of took his skate out. So I mean, you could form your own opinion on it, but Dallas coach wasn't too upset.
Yeah, I mean, it was an accident. I think everybody knows that. More Canucks drama. We talked about that. Okay, so we're kind of through our talking points, but Jordan brings up a point here. He says Canucks and Leafs should do a trade. Riley Miller, Robo, and a pick involved. Robo, is he talking about Nick Robertson? So you give up Nick Robertson and if I'm the Leafs, I don't know that I want to trade Nick Robertson. He's been scoring goals. Don't they want him? They might need him.
Yeah, they might, but I also think they're looking at it as his value's gone up a lot, right? Like I think at the start of the season when he was wanting a trade, I think it would have been lucky if they got a 3rd round pick. I think his value's gone up.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's gonna get their mock trades in. Joshua getting his mock trade in here, but
Josh says, Josh Dishotel, I hope I said that right, says from a trade rumor, Leafs to acquire Colton Sissons or Ryan O'Reilly at 50%, and center right wing Mike McCarron, who's $900K, for Nick Robertson and David Camp, a 2nd, a 3rd, a 2025, and a F prospect. I don't know what you mean by F prospect.
Forward prospect.
Oh, a forward prospect. Okay. He says from the trade rumor, Leafs to acquire versatile forward Alexei Tropachenko for Pontus Holberg.
Yeah, I mean the Tropachenko, that one's interesting from St. Louis. I don't know if St. Louis is trading him, but I like that player for sure. Yeah, I don't know. Nashville's surely got to make some moves at some point because they're not going to make it.
I predicted Marchessault may go back to Vegas if they would move him. Would you think they could make that move? Like a Brendan Brisson back?
I don't know. I mean, do they have...
Nashville just needs young players at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Vegas can create the cap space, but I was going to say, I thought there was some lost or hurt feelings there after what happened.
Oh, yeah. Well, but I mean, like all's fair in love and war, right? Yeah, Vegas is over the cap, so they would have to move somebody. Obviously, if Pietrangelo ends up actually having,
Well, no, I mean there's going to be some internal investigation there, man, because Pietrangelo's like making the statement he's got some ailments, then he plays like 25 minutes that night.
Well, I don't think there's any internal investigation there, John, because not to be indignant about it, but like it's voluntary to play in the Four Nations, and there's no suspensions tied to it or anything. That the league has come out and said, players can drop out. I get it. But Canadians are pissed.
No, I'm with you, but I'm just saying it's the same as the All-Star, Jeremiah. To me, it's the same thing because
it's not because if you skip the All-Star game, you get 2-game suspension.
No, but that's what I'm talking about. To me, they see it as the same thing, but the Four Nations, they didn't really prepare for that. Like Four Nations is replacing the All-Star this year. And for the NHL, in terms of generating revenue, they need their best players in. So what happened here, I'm not saying I'm with you. There's nothing in place to say that they're going to get disciplined. But what I'm saying is what I'm hearing behind the scenes right now is they are worried that this is going to be a trend. So if Pietrangelo does this and there's no discipline, then what's to say that Sidney Crosby doesn't go like he's done for past All-Stars? He could be
He's not.
No, I don't think he's going to for Team Canada, but I'm just saying
I think there's a lot of guys that wanted to play in this, John. I think there's a lot of guys that wanted to play in this, and I think a 35-year-old defenseman who's won 2 Stanley Cups and Olympic gold and all this doesn't need this for his legacy and probably wants to be rested up to go for a 3rd Stanley Cup because they have a legit chance to win. And nothing against the Four Nations Cup, but what does it mean ultimately?
No, that's fair. But
what does it mean
for the National Hockey League to not set a precedent for this? It's going to worry people that guys could start backing out.
Yeah, I'm glad they're not suspending players because there's entire countries not playing.
Hey, what's up on the ice?
So, yeah, I got you. I get you. Oilers should trade for Brian Dumoulin. Yeah, that could be a guy that gets moved. He's with Anaheim this year, I think, right? I could see them trading. We'll see. We were just talking earlier, Rico and I, about the comparables, and I'll just pop it up on the screen for you guys to see because I think the Oilers should have kept Warren Fogle. Here. So here is the all strengths numbers for Jeff Skinner. Okay. And here is the numbers, and you can see where he's at and what he's scored. I hope that's clear. And here is Fogle. younger, better in every aspect other than shot speed. And that's nominal because he has an 80-mile-an-hour top shot speed. Or sorry, he has it 89 and Skinner has a 90. That's the only anyway. Fogle costs $500,000 more than Skinner. And Skinner's been abysmal. He's been a healthy scratch for some games for them. I don't understand why they didn't keep Fogle.
I mean, I agree with you. And I think the bigger mistake is the fact that they brought in Arvidsson and Skinner. And I think a lot of people, including myself, thought I'll own it. I actually thought the Skinner signing was better than Arvidsson. I never understood the Arvidsson one just for playoff hockey and things like that. But taking account Arvidsson and Skinner were like $7 million combined. Yeah. Look what Dylan Holloway this year for St. Louis. It's crazy.
Holloway's tearing it up.
Holloway is tearing it up, and he is still 23 years old.
What did I tell you, Rico, before we started the show about where Edmonton would be if they had kept those players? And I just said Fogle, Holloway, and Broberg, and then you bring in Emberson. You could get rid of Desharnais. What did I say before we started the show, Rico?
Well, they'd be winning the cup just like you picked them at the beginning of the year.
I mean, I think they would be the President's Trophy team running away right now.
Yeah.
With that back end. And if you got Emberson, you basically would have had all your D pairs sorted out in some way or another.
I'm waiting for the Pearlo rant over there. Pearlo, aren't you getting fired up over this? What's going on, man?
Well, you just have to go back and look what I said before the season started.
He thought
I was
Edmonton
talking about this when I didn't like the Skinner move when they did it.
He did,
and
he was all over.
Forget about. I didn't know that St. Louis was going to do what he did. Skinner, to me, I won't get into it, but I didn't like the Skinner move. I didn't mind the Arvidsson move. I'm happy that he's not injured as much as he usually is, but I didn't really like that. But then once the St. Louis did what he did, I'm like, well, you just tell Skinner, sorry, we made a mistake by Arvidsson. Yeah, we made a mistake by. We're signing these guys. There's no way you let those guys go.
I think at the deadline they're gonna use Skinner as just a cap going the other way situation.
I mean, if you're a GM that's gonna potentially play them, you don't do them any favors. They made their bed. This is it. This is a cup. If you can keep a cup team from getting cup better, I don't know, man. Like if I'm not saying collusion, but like. I'm not helping Edmonton.
Look how many teams have helped like Tampa along the way, right, Jeremiah?
Right,
but if they're going to get a lot of assets for it, like if Edmonton's willing to give up a bunch of assets, a team's going to say, "Let's do it." It's not like Skinner. It's not like if it was a long-term deal, it'd be a different thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing, and that's probably the reason why we go back to why they let Fogle go, is he wanted. 3 years.
The multiple years, exactly.
And they've got to sign several guys coming up.
They can escape out of this Skinner and Arvidsson situation pretty easily.
But they would have less of a problem moving Fogle at 3-5.
I would think so. I would agree.
They'd have less of a problem moving a player like that who consistently plays in the playoffs, did when he was with the Canes, obviously with Edmonton. He was unbelievable as a penalty killer for them last year. I thought he was one of the best players on the ice for Edmonton in the postseason. And you need those secondary guys to step up. He was just a guy you could rely. We don't know what Jeff Skinner could do in the playoffs because he's never once played in the playoffs. And we do know that he doesn't like to play defensive hockey, which is kind of what the playoffs are all about. So Jaden Jordan says Skinner would have been done better on the Leafs. Maybe. You never know. Is he an Ontario guy? Is Skinner an Ontario guy? I don't know where he's from.
Yeah.
Oh, he's Alberta, isn't he?
Oh, is he? Oh, he's Canadian.
I think that's one of the reasons why they brought him.
I knew he was Canadian. I was like, is he?
I was gonna say, interesting trade proposal in the chat. I wonder about Trent Frederick. If
I'm wrong, he's from Toronto. I'm wrong.
Yeah, I thought he was an Ontario boy.
Toronto. Sorry.
Yeah, he hesitated. No, you're good. Yeah, Trent Frederick's an interesting one. I wonder if Edmonton's going to be one of the teams to look at if Boston falls out of a playoff spot, because I think Trent Frederick is as good as gone. He's gone from Boston for sure.
So you know what's ironic? Edmonton with the signing of I didn't pop that on. Who popped that on?
Sorry, I clicked it because I was just curious about the comment.
Oh, I did pop it on, but I took it off. You popped it back on. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Jeff Skinner and a pick for Trent Frederick would be fair for both sides. I don't know how Jeff Skinner helps the Bruins at all.
No, I think it would have to be like a couple, like it'd have to be like a second and third round pick coming from Edmonton to make it worth Boston's while, kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are a lot of teams that are hoping Boston's out of the playoff mix because they're probably not trading Trent Frederick if they're in the mix. That's the problem with them right now. Jake Rains has 2 question marks. That Kreider, you think? I mean, he makes a lot though. Yeah. It's just funny to me that Edmonton has $3.5 million in cap space right now.
Yeah.
I
was gonna say I'll probably pop off here in a couple minutes and let you guys finish with your betting segment. But the interesting part for me further, and I want to hear Pearlo talk more about it in the shows upcoming, is for Edmonton. Like, are they gonna make small moves around the edges and maybe flip Skinner out, or for what the rumors have been, are they gonna make like another Ekholm type deal? Get like a stud difference maker on that left side. So that would be interesting for me because I think Edmonton realized that they were right there. They were a game away from a Stanley Cup. And a guy like Ekholm obviously goes a long way against a team like Florida, right? So I wonder if they make another move like that because as good as like Emberson, a low-key addition, and then obviously a guy like Darnell Nurse has played better. But
yeah, because he's playing where he should in the lineup.
Yeah. I mean, Pearlo, I'd also be curious to hear, do they consider trying to flip Nurse because his value is so much higher now and you can get out of it versus when the value is so much lower, you wouldn't be able to get it? I mean, again, I don't think they're going to trade Nurse, but I'm just saying that it's always easy to try to trade a guy when the value's low versus when he's playing well. But in hindsight, you probably do it when he's playing well because that's when you get the value.
He's got a pretty ironclad no NTC there, and I think that
I mean, he would have to waive it.
He'd have to waive his
Skinner.
NTC.
No, a
Nurse.
Well,
Nurse.
Skinner has a no movement too, so they really can't trade Skinner.
That's crazy.
But
But going back to
that,
Nurse,
to be honest.
I think
That's
he's just
crazy.
ingrained too much in the fabric there. In a lot of ways, it would be very difficult to. If it did, it would happen in the summer. It certainly would. I don't think it would happen now. But as far as what they were going to like, I agree. I would love to see a Pettersson show up there from Pittsburgh. But what kind of assets do they really have besides the first? That kid they picked up from Buffalo, Podkolzin. Like they don't really have many assets to do this. So I think they're going to have to get really inventive to find a way to be able to add a piece like that. As much as I agree with you that that's what they would want to do and they should do is really add something with some meat on it to this lineup. They kind of gave the impression that the reason why they did these moves is it made the cap space for them to do that. So how are they going to do it? Man, I mean, I'll be really impressed with how they juggle those balls of not having much prospects or picks to bring in a piece that you're talking about. But if they can do it, that would be awesome.
I was gonna say I've heard rumors that Boston may try to get out of that Zadorov contract before it gets bad.
I wonder if him going back to Vancouver is a fit because he just seemed like he was unbelievable in the playoffs. I'd never seen that guy play that good. Like he was scoring goals for them. Like, I don't know.
But I was going to say, going back to what you said, Pearlo, if I'm Edmonton, I'm definitely calling Pittsburgh and trying to see about maybe a Marcus Pettersson, Rickard Rakell combo for a big blockbuster because those two guys would help Edmonton now and come playoff time.
I would love for it to be Pettersson, and I would trade, you'd probably have to get rid of that Matthew Savoy kid you just picked up and first round pick and maybe Podkolzin or something like that, if that'll be enough. If you can get him signed too, especially if you could sign him up.
Well, there's a lot of speculation that Marcus Pettersson's not going to get much more than maybe a first. So, I mean, hey, if that's the case, then I think Edmonton should do it.
If it's a rental, he shouldn't get more than a first, right? Or much more than that, first and a second or something. So maybe that would be probably something that they would be looking at. And he's Swedish, right? So isn't Ekholm Swedish too? So maybe those guys are usually pretty
Raquel
tight.
too. Ricard Raquel too. So you never know.
Yeah, those guys are usually pretty tight. Like they're close friends. They're very family-orientated people. So Ekholm might be able to give him a shot, give him a ring, and kind of push that envelope a little bit, I would hope.
Yeah.
So that would be nice.
All right.
Well,
I was gonna say I'm out for the show. You guys run with your betting section, but yeah, great show as always. Let's get the comments and likes rolling. But appreciate the chat with you guys.
Yeah, please leave a like, subscribe. We have 65 in the chat. Please appreciate everybody. Thank you so much, John. We're going to bring the degenerate Bostonian in to replace John to talk about the 10 games tomorrow. So whenever you're ready, John, we appreciate you so much.
All
Thanks
right.
for coming on. Big surprise. We
Peace.
got you 2 days in a row. It's awesome. So good to have John on. We got Mike, the degenerate Bostonian, in. We call him a degenerate because he gambles on everything, man. Disc golf, pretzel cutting competitions, you name it. Let's just start off with tomorrow's games. We have 10 games to preview, guys. So this is going to be a long preview for you guys, but we're going to try to get through them quick. I'm not going to give any bets. I'll try to keep up with the over and under. The first game is Jets Bruins. I love this game. This is going to be a good game. I'm excited to watch it. Why don't you start it off, Mike? This is your hometown Bruins. How you feeling about this?
I actually like the Bees. We're 10-1-1 in our last 12 games at home.
And plus 110 at home.
There's a reason for that. I think Swayman bounced back. There's no way he can have 2 bad games. So I'm taking my hometown boys. Let me be a homer here. And I'm going to take the Bruins.
Yeah, I like the under, maybe a draw game here.
5.5 is the under, by the way. 5.5 is the over under.
I just think you're going to get a 3-2 game either way.
Okay. Jordan
Maybe.
Disagrees with you guys. He says Bruins 4-3. So, Pearlo, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a grinder out game. I think Winnipeg had their eye on this game. It's always a big game when you go into Boston. That's what makes it kind of tough for Boston and Toronto because they have such a storied past that people really go for them. So I think Boston will give it like crazy, and I think Winnipeg will come. I kind of agree with Rico. I kind of like the draw here, but at plus money, put a little bit on Boston as well, especially since our Bostonian here. I'm not going to go against him. He knows his team better than probably I do, so we'll go with that.
We all know the Bruins this season. They're kind of sketchy.
Yeah.
Okay, the next game is Minnesota Wild, Montreal Canadiens. Minnesota plus 105. God, it's tough. I don't know.
This is going to be a good game. This will be Marc-Andre Fleury's swan song here, a game in Montreal. It's confirmed as a starter against Dobes for Montreal. They're both confirmed. So, again, Western Conference versus Eastern Conference. Minnesota after a big win against Toronto tonight. Again, I could see Marc-Andre Fleury, and I think Minnesota could just be playing for Marc-Andre Fleury in his home province tomorrow night.
Last start in Montreal.
Yeah.
I just wonder if we're going to get an unbelievable game from Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yeah. Give me the Wild in that one.
Okay, Wild at plus 105. Pearlo, what are you thinking?
I think there's no better way for this to go than a draw. Montreal loves Fleury. Minnesota is going to play hard for Fleury. It's going to be very emotional. I can see this being a draw, and then maybe Montreal pulls it out at the end, or Minnesota. I don't know. I wouldn't take a side, but I think it'd be perfect if it ended up in a draw and they both can celebrate Fleury in this game because it's going to be a very emotional game. It's going to be fun to watch. I'll be watching it regardless. I don't even know if I'll bet on it because I just want to enjoy the game.
I love it. Mike.
It's hard for me to go against Fleury on his swan song night, though I do like Montreal having the day off and Minnesota being on a back-to-back. They definitely had a rough one tonight, or a hard-working one tonight, I should say, in Toronto. I kind of like the Wild at plus 1.5, and maybe I may parlay them with Boston if the numbers work out. Just kind of a double lay option here. But Yeah, see, I'm either taking Wild plus 1.5, or I'm going to do the Pearlo and just put my feet up and enjoy the game because it is his swan song. And Fleury is the man when he's on. Like he's on, it's almost insta cash. So,
Right. I have to say too, there's something to be said. We talk gambling on this thing, on this show at the end of the show, but there is something to be said to just not putting any money on a game and enjoying it for the hockey it's going to be. I love that for Pearlo. Let's call it good, man. I'm good there. I messed up. I'm sorry. I lost my spot, so I apologize. Okay, so the next game is the Washington Capitals visiting the Ottawa Senators. No favorite there. Mike, why don't you kick us off there?
no favorite. If Lindy's going, we're very specific. If I get Lindgren in net, I am taking the Capitals. If he is not in net, I'm not touching this game. It's how it's going to be. I like
Logan Thompson is like a Vezina candidate this year. I don't know why you would.
I'm 0 for 5 betting when Thompson's in the pipes. That's why.
Okay, he played last night. So I think it'll 100% be I think it'll 100% be Charlie Lindgren because Logan Thompson played a pretty busy night against Calgary. But Capitals had a few days off before that, and this isn't a terrible travel day for them. I think this is one of the last on their roadie. I just never know what Ottawa team's going to show up. Rico, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I'll take Ottawa here. They've been looking good on home ice lately. The last trip before Washington goes home. So
2 in a row for Ottawa, 7-2-1 in their last 10.
Yeah, so they beat the Leafs and they beat Utah back to back there. So yeah, I mean, last time Washington beat them, I think a couple weeks ago, was 1-0, so it was low scoring.
Yeah, it was the overtime Ovechkin goal. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll take Ottawa on this spot here.
Yeah, see, Jordan says he likes to weigh over 5.5. Man, I think it'll be the under. Pearlo, did you give a pick on this one?
No, I haven't yet. But I mean, it's so hard to go against Washington right now. The way they're playing, they're so dialed in. It's crazy. But this is a spot where it's been a heck of a long road trip. And if there was ever a time that Washington might let down a bit, it'd be here. And Ottawa is like balls out to make the playoffs right now. So
they're in the third spot right now. Ottawa's in the third spot in the Atlantic right now.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I mean, though, is just to remain that way and keep on going that way. Like they seem very driven right now. And I really like the way Green has this team going. So I would lean to Ottawa here, but it's hard to go against Washington. So, but I would lean to Ottawa.
Yeah. The big concern for me is what are they getting for goaltending? Are people starting to get the book on this guy? But they've won 2 in a row. Yeah, another one I wouldn't bet because it's my team, obviously. Kings Lightning. Pearlo, why don't you kick us off for the Kings Lightning? Kings plus 130. This is a back-to-back for them. They're going from Florida to Tampa. Tampa, they got whooped by Chicago the other day. I don't know, man. But LA's not scoring right now. I don't know what's going on with LA.
Yeah, I have a theory of Tampa that, I mean, because Vasilevsky was out sick that game against Chicago. And I heard rumors that there was a flu going on in there. And that kind of made me think that there was a flu going on in Tampa Bay. And they should be over that now. So if they had a bad road trip. I think Tampa runs over LA here a little bit. I think they're going to put everything they can at it. You know, have you ever been
Chicago? I believe beat Tampa in Tampa.
Sorry,
Chicago beat Tampa in Tampa.
I know, but like I said, I think they were having a flu going on in that road trip, and now they're. Oh, sorry, yeah, but even when they come back, they still had the flu going. And this one here, I think they want this one big time against LA. And LA hasn't been that good on the road. They've been trying, but they can't seem to get her
They're
done.
just not scoring, but they're still
they're not scoring on the road, and they're it's gonna be rich in that. Tampa Bay is gonna have hopefully Vasilevsky's healthy now and he'll play. So I gotta go with Tampa. I don't like the price too much, and I like LA, but I think I gotta go with Tampa.
So there's only 3 teams in the NHL that have scored more goals than the Tampa Bay Lightning, who are a plus 32. That's the Winnipeg Jets, the Capitals, the Vegas Golden Knights. That's it. And the Capitals and Golden Knights are tied at 174, and the Winnipeg Jets have 184 goals for. So, wow. Insane. Okay. Hey, thank you, Jordan. Appreciate you, man. We really appreciate you being in the chat. Thanks so much. Okay. Mike, Kings Lightning. Let's not spend 5 minutes on each game, Perlo. We got
I like the Lightning here. They're 15-7 at home. The Kings are 11-13 on the road, and it's a back-to-back double Florida here. This is easy for me. Give me the Lightning, especially if Vaz is in that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's Vasilevsky. We can look.
He's listed but not confirmed.
Yeah, so you never know. If they have to go Johansson two games in a row, could be interesting. Anyway, I have a hard time with Tampa playing two bad ones in a row there. Even though they're 4-5-1 in their last 10, and they've lost 2 in a row. Probably, like Perlo was saying, some of that has to do. Rico, how are you feeling about this one? You calling this one as you take a swig of apple juice?
It's Lightning all day here. I mean,
okay, yeah,
it's just the Lightning spot.
Sure. Blackhawks, Hurricanes. I'm just going to kick it off and don't think anybody in their right mind should bet this game if you feel really good about how the Blackhawks have been playing. Put $10 on them at plus 350 because they are plus 350 underdogs to the Hurricanes.
Yeah, and Carolina just beat them January 20th. 4-3 too. Of course, that was a close game. So
yeah, I like the way Chicago's been playing.
I know this is one of those games where there's going to be so much money on Carolina puck line, Carolina regulation. Just going to be one of those games where Chicago plays them tight. But I mean, it's Carolina or nothing here. If you want to throw a few shackles on Chicago, go ahead. But
yeah, I mean, the consensus across the board for all you guys.
Yeah, I like Orlov scoring a goal here. For some reason, I don't know why. I just feel like he might score.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right, let's move on to Islanders Flyers. The hottest team in the NHL, the New York Islanders. They are 8-2-0 in their last 10. They have won 5 straight. They are like 4 points out of a wild card. Hey, Pam, good evening. Hope you're doing well. We're previewing the games for tomorrow. Thanks for being with us. We're wrapping up the show here sooner than later. Islanders, Flyers. What are you thinking here, Rico?
This is this weird spot. It's the second time in a week where the Islanders get the Flyers on a back-to-back. So good on them. Isles all day.
Flyers did not look good tonight either. And they had to pull their goalie. I
think the Flyers are 0-8 on back-to-backs this year, so I'm taking the Islanders.
Yeah, you could tell they're hurting on. They had to put Fedotov in tonight for Urson. They're probably going to go back to Urson. By the way, Urson got named as a replacement for Markstrom for Team Sweden, so that's pretty cool. Mike, who are you thinking here in Philly?
I like the Isles here. A couple injuries for Philly tonight. A lot of fighting.
Oh, yeah, Tippett went out. He's probably not in. He took a huge hit from Brendan Dillon for sure.
Not just a back-to-back, but a wounded team itself. Give me the Isles on the rest.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Ducks visiting the Flames. Ducks been playing some healthy hockey. Flames are still in a playoff spot, boys. With only 49 games played, they're secure in the second wild card right now, unless Vancouver wins this game tonight, and then they'll bump past him. But we lost Rico for a second there. Rico, did you take yourself out, or is that? Oh, okay, he's back. Okay. The Ducks are 4-5-1 in their last 10, but they have won 3 in a row. Oh, we lost Rico for good. I think Rico may have to restart. I'll go to the tight shot. Yeah, we lost Rico. Probably got a call. Okay. 3 in a row for the Ducks, man, and they're road dogs. What are you thinking? Perlo, go ahead.
I'm taking the Ducks. I like the cut of their jib right now. They're rolling all right. Give me the plus money. I don't like the fact that Wolf will probably be in net here, but I'm going to take a shot at him. Calgary's lost 2 in a row. Yeah, I think the Ducks could surprise them here a little bit. But what do you think, DJN?
I have such a fanboy crush on the Ducks. It's kind of
I
comical.
Yeah.
I really do.
So you're definitely throwing money on plus 145.
Yeah, for sure. I like Gibson too much, and I like the way they're playing.
Well, and Wolf played the other night, so I wonder if their backup, which is Dan Vladar, and he hasn't been great. Perlo, just slide a touch into the screen. The other way, buddy. The other way.
Okay.
Just the other way.
Didn't
Once we
even
get Rico back, just a slight little bit more to your left.
Oh, okay, because you got
There you
Rico.
go. There you
Rico.
go. Yeah, I went to the wide shot here. I went to the close in. I'm sorry. I went to the close in. We'll go to the wide shot if he comes back. Saad, thank you so much for being with us. Appreciate everybody. 53 people in the chat, 31 in HTH, 22 live on X. Appreciate everybody. Red Wings Oilers plus 220 Red Wings in Edmonton. I think Edmonton's due for a stinker, man. I just do. I wonder, the Detroit's been playing pretty solid. They've won 3 in a row. They're 6-3-1. And Edmonton hasn't really hit a wall this year at all. They're probably one of the best teams in the NHL. They're 7-3-1. They've won 3 in a row. So what do you guys think here? I would put $5 on the Red Wings at plus 220. Jordan says, Wings, baby.
I'm putting more than $5 on it. I love Detroit here. I love Detroit. Yeah.
Okay. Mike, what are you thinking?
I'm sitting this one out.
Okay,
I
love
do
it.
like Detroit, but I'm sitting it out.
Yeah, I know. It's tough to bet against McDavid. Pittsburgh just scored, by the way. Looks like the aforementioned Marcus Pettersson from the point to make it 1-1. So, Casper with 2 points, Jordan says. We're still 2-1 in Nashville, by the way. Vancouver's up 2-1. But Nashville is going on the power play here. 16 minutes left in the third there. Just give a quick score update. I've been doing a good job. It's tough when we have all these topics to talk about, and then we get the GOAT Hot Take Hockey in here, and he's helping us out. It's awesome to have you guys. Appreciate everybody. Rico is back with us, I think.
Hey.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Sorry, boys.
There he is. No, he's good. He's good. Okay, Rico, you're a Wings guy. Would you like the Wings here at plus 220 against the Oilers? Both have won 3 in a row. Wings are 6-3-1 in their last 10, and Edmonton 7-3 in their last 10. Both coming off 3 wins, winning 3 in a row. I think Edmonton's just due for a home stinker, and I just like how they were playing. I said $5 at plus 220 for the Red Wings. Why wouldn't you? Our friend Jordan in the chat likes Casper with 2 points.
Take the Wings. Edmonton has Toronto right after this.
Oh, God, those are good matchups, too. We need Toronto to get their act together. Let's go, Toronto. Okay, Blue Jackets visiting the Golden Knights. Golden Knights choked that one away against Dallas the other night. Blue Jackets plus 205. Blue Jackets are 7-2-1 in their last 10. They're coming off a win. The Vegas Golden Knights they have slipped to second now because they have been 3-5-2 in their last 10, and they lost in overtime to the aforementioned Dallas Stars. Wyatt Johnson on fire. Wyatt Johnston hat trick, game winner. That was a pretty good game, man. That was a great game. All in all. I wonder if the Mark Stone thing, again, they're going to be missing Heiskanen, but that was a huge win for them. Dude, I don't hate the Blue Jackets here, guys, at plus 205. Blue Jackets are in the mix. They are tied right now with Tampa for the second wild card, but Tampa has games in hand. So I feel like the Blue Jackets got to pick up these road wins. If that's been their Achilles heel. They're really awful on the road, 7-14-4. So Perlo, why don't you kick us off? Blue Jackets.
If I'm going to bet this one, I'd probably bet the Blue Jackets as well. The one thing the Blue Jackets have been doing is playing really well defensively lately on the road, and Vegas has had trouble scoring. So I'd go the under here, but I would throw a couple shekels on the Jackets too.
Yeah, plus 205. The over-under, by the way, for that game is, because we haven't been saying it, because we haven't talked too much over-under, is 6.5.
Yeah,
so I like the under. That's cool. That's a large number for two teams that well, Blue Jackets been scoring, but the Golden Knights, they did have 3 games against Dallas, but Oil Baron says Secret Agent Crosby to Toronto all Canadian final. Yeah, maybe. I think you probably got a better chance of something else happening, but I think McDavid has a better chance of being in Toronto than Crosby, if you want to be quite frank. Okay, did everybody give their picks on this? Blue Jackets, Golden Knights?
I'll take the Jackets here at plus money.
Okay.
Vegas basically has 1 foot on the plane heading to New York City after this game on a road trip, so they might not be entirely focused for this one. And Columbus plays hard; they've been playing well, so watch out for that money. The money's on Columbus.
Yeah, I mean, if you could parlay Red Wings and Blue Jackets too, and probably get a really nice parlay there too. Yeah, he will be there on Saturday. Okay, the last game of the night. Sharks Kraken. Sharks can't miss. They're never in a boring game. That's for sure. The Kraken are an absolute dumpster fire. We didn't even talk about Grubauer going on waivers today, guys. They put him on waivers. And we didn't even talk about Saad getting bought out. Like Saad got on waivers, he passed. I think we talked about Saad, but he's now going to be bought out. It looks like Saad is going to be bought out. So he might be trying to sign with another team before the deadline. Well, obviously at league minimum.
I think Grubauer will probably be on that same road too. I can't imagine anybody picking him up. I don't know.
3 years left for Grubauer at 5'8". You take that money. You're gonna make every penny of that. I just play in Coachella. You get to live in Palm Springs. Oh my God, awful. I would just ride. I mean, Grubauer's he was a part of the Caps Stanley Cup team. He very much missed the window right there with Colorado to be a part of their team. He's been on some good teams. He's had a fairly good career for a guy that, I would just.
And he played good in that playoff series against the Avalanche with the first year that the Kraken came in the league.
And they won. Yeah, I'll say this. Grubauer was not the problem in the game yesterday. Were there a couple that you needed back? Abso-freaking-lutely. But he made some 10-bell saves. They are just god-awful right now. They're not playing Team D. They're not doing anything well. Seattle is a -15 team. They're a 500 team at home. They should be a 750 team at home with their home ice. They fans jam that building. Utah just scored, by the way.
Ticket prices in the league almost too, I think.
Yep, Utah just scored. I thought it was maybe spicy tuna. That would have been awesome.
What are they calling that team?
Carcone.
What do they call the Utah hockey team?
So we sent out a thing. We'll go over that. We sent out a tweet. We're going to see what the tweet looks like. I'll pull up the tweet here before the end of the show. Okay, everybody give their Seattle Kraken Sharks pick, and then I'll get the pick.
Yeah, I'll take a draw. Askarov and Decord. I'll take a draw there.
I like the Sharks. I like plus money. I like Askarov a lot. So give me the Sharks. Give me Celebrini.
Celebrini time.
Yeah,
Come on.
Don't wait for me to.
I'll put a little bit on the Sharks and a little bit on the draw. So I'll do what both of those guys do because they're so good. So I'll just go with those two guys. There we go.
Okay, so yeah, you were too fast.
Celebrini time. Come on. Let's celebrate.
He's been unbelievable.
All right.
So I sent out a tweet. Okay, here it is. This is my tweet, but we're just gonna pull it up because I'm not gonna. We'll get the results tomorrow. Because I just did
You sound like my doctor.
Yeah, no, sorry. So the names that so it's the next 4 games that they play. The fans are going to be that are there are going to be able to vote. So before they had a 750,000 people vote, Yeti won. They lost because Yeti is copyrighted or something. So I don't know if it's because of the cooler company. To me, if you're the cooler company, what are you doing? Pick up the phone and call Ryan Smith and go, we will let you use the name Yeti and we will be a sponsor for you. Like Yeti stuff is awesome. Yeah. This is a Yeti can. I mean, I have a Yeti.
That and all the ushers selling beer in the aisles like freaking baseball games out of Yeti coolers and you have a custom Utah Yeti cup that you get
for $30. I mean, it would just be
Utah
unbelievable.
Yetis rolls off the tongue. The Mammoth and whatever else they're called. I
So
can't remember
these
the
are
third.
yeah. So Utah Hockey Club, they could just keep the name, which I don't think would be terrible. The Utah Mammoth, there's already a team, I think a soccer team that's Utah Mammoth. So again, I don't know how that's, but yeah, Yeti Cups last a long time, Pam, for sure. And then the Utah Wasatch. So I don't know what yeah. So
Well, if
anyway,
it's the Mammoths, I could just hear the announcer, and another Mammoth win, a gigantic win.
I think Mammoth makes the most sense.
Yeah, I
Hey,
like Mammoth.
Nikki Valerie, I love Nikki Valerie. Hey, Nikki Valerie in the Twitch. Hockey Club is a terrible name. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Nikki, I love you.
I didn't
love
like
you.
Hockey Club. It was all right.
Yeah, I love the.
But you know what they could do? They could call themselves the Mammoth Yetis. And then everybody will call them the Yetis anyways.
I think those are the names that they kind of went with. I think it's gonna be one of those things. Is Wasatch something? The Wasatch is a range. It's a mountain range there.
Oh,
So I got a question for you.
Wasatch Range
another
or
name-
hold on,
Is
just
there
let me read
another
this.
name that could come out of left field? Or is they narrowed it down to those three? Or is there one that come out of left field
So
still?
what that guy Ryan Smith does is this sort of thing for a living. Like that's how he's made billions, is by going in and taking surveys and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, the Wasatch Range or Wasatch Mountains is a mountain range in western United States that runs 160 miles from the Utah-Idaho border, south central Utah. In the language of the Ute people, which is very like the Utah Utes football, the college football team, they're very popular. The mountains were named for a Shoshone leader who was named after Shoshone. Shoshone is an Indian tribe or a Native American tribe. I don't mind it. I don't mind the Wasatch name. Not bad. I don't know. I doubt it's going to win over Mammoth.
Though, and the Mormons originated there too, so you could call them the Utah Mormons. Like
I
nobody
think
could
that's
spell that name. Nobody could spell that W name that you just said. That's the only issue with that.
Wasatch?
It's WASATCH.
Well,
If it means that much to the people
spell
there,
it.
though, I think it's good. If it means that much to the people there, that would
That's
be.
cool. That's a cool
They're going to
angle.
vote the next 4 games. So if you're a Utah Hockey Club, Utah fan, get out there to the games, the next 4 games, and vote. So basically 60,000 some odd people or whatever that go to those games, 10, 12,000 are going to decide the Utah Hockey Club. I'm guessing if Nikki Valerie is there, she's not voting for Utah Hockey Club.
This isn't soccer. We're not hockey clubs.
So why can't they call themselves Salt Lake City instead of Utah?
Lost
Like
my
Salt
mind.
Lake City, what instead of Utah?
I don't know. Yeah, there was an ECHL team in Utah, and I can't remember what their name was.
Utah Grizzlies.
Yeah, Utah Grizzlies.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be terrible either. Perlo, you disappeared.
I'm back. There we are.
You just rocked back too far. Okay, well, guys.
I didn't rock back.
Oh, whatever. You disappeared.
I lost my camera. Yeah, I got it back.
Oh, you okay? All right. I don't have anything. We're gonna be back tomorrow. Mike, are you with us tomorrow?
I should be.
Okay.
The Dutch forklift games will be over at around 10:30. So
Yeah, and Friday. So tomorrow's Thursday. Friday, there's only 4 games. Mike and I will be live. Also, I wanted to talk to you guys. I know we said we're going 5 days a week now. Monday is like 1 game, but the problem with Monday is Tuesday there's 14 games. So I feel like we do a quick show and just preview the 14 games on Monday.
Yeah, sounds good.
Just a preview show only. Probably unless there's a major. Obviously, this weekend we could see major trade news. So just to give you guys a heads up, we will be taking some times off. But yeah, thank you, Pam, from time to time. But for right now, we're doing Monday through Friday. That's the plan. So and then I'm gonna live stream for Hot Take Hockey for some games from time to time. We're gonna figure that out. Usually Wednesday this night. So I'll live stream into the thing. Couldn't do it today. Had to take my TAP alcohol management class today, so I can serve at a friend's event. So anyway,
cool.
Yeah, I've done that since I was 21. So I've been doing it for a long time. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much, man. We have 45 in the chat as we close up shop here. Appreciate everybody. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. Same channel, Hot Take Hockey, or you can follow on Twitch, or you can follow on X at the Sports Beard, or you could follow on Instagram. We were live on Instagram. I don't know if I lost the Instagram or I ended it. I must have ended it on accident. But anyway, I had the Instagram up. I appreciate all you guys. Have a wonderful night. Peace. Barking.